What's going on, yo? So I just wanted to chime in with you all because I just had like a really good conversation with a young woman, well rounded, got her head on the shoulders, and we had a conversation where she was giving me her perspective on certain things coming from a woman, and I was doing the same as a man. And the thing that I took from this conversation is that we got to talk about accountability. That's something that you don't really see a lot of on the internet. For the simple fact, I think it's a lot easier for people to point fingers and place blame in all other directions as opposed to looking at the self. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to accountability for self, I think people are extremely hesitant to look inward as opposed to looking outward when it comes to the situation they may be in, um, whether it be financial, the relationships, and things of that nature. And speaking as a man, accountability has to start at home. It has to start with what you see in the mirror. I don't have this mindset to want to place blame in every other area when it comes to my shortcomings or things that I'm not doing or the things I don't have. And we look at these monsters in the dark like white supremacy and racism and the system and things of that nature. And not saying that those things don't exist, but at the end of the day, it's still ultimately up to me to determine my path, my walk, my journey, and ultimately my destination. It's just that simple for me. I listen to a lot of men online, and especially when talking about relationships with women. And the thing that I notice is that you got to really pay attention to what these dudes are saying online, because a lot of these dudes that are online venting and ranting and raving and going on about black women, especially, what you can really pick up on is they don't really have a lot of experience with dealing with black women. They really don't. And you can tell when a guy is talking that he's really not boots on the ground out here. He really doesn't have a lot of experiences when it comes to dealing with the opposite sex. That's just the bottom line. Because of the things that they say and how they say it, you could tell that a lot of them get their talking points from other men online. And if you don't have real world experience, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be easily be led by your nose with this type of rhetoric that you hear online. And I just, again, I come from just a everyday dude out here, everyday life, in the rat race, trying to find your path or whatever, right? And so that's who I prefer to converse with, because again, it's just you need grounded conversation. You need to be grounded in reality. And a lot of these people just aren't grounded in reality. I look at guys, especially in 2025. In 2025, if you are a man, you got to know what the game is in regards to the court systems and things of that nature. You understand what I'm saying? If you out here and you planting your seed in any female that'll spread her legs, bro, you cannot complain about anything that come after that. Because I'm telling you, not having a child, bro, it's not that difficult to do. But again, when you're out here being reckless with your seed and then turn around and want to blame women and their ratchet and the Western mindset and the system and these judges, they all against, yo, at the end of the day, you have to own your situation. You got to own it. And that's something that I see a lot of men not doing. They don't want to own their situation. They don't want to look at what did I do that landed me in the place that I am. They don't want to do that. This is not a conversation to bash men or to bash anyone, but we have to have real conversations. There are not enough genuine conversations online. It's just a lot of toxicity and a lot of negativity and a lot of division, because division is profitable. Division and drama bring in the views. But at the end of the day, it's doing damage to the culture. At the end of the day, you have to be mindful in how you move. You have to be selective in the type of women that you deal with. You have to be picky. You have to have standards. You have to be disciplined as a man, or you're going to pay the consequences. Now, once you're in family court talking about, if you get to that point, that we all understand that the system is skewed towards women, but we already know that. So you have to put yourself into a situation to where you're not sitting on that bench waiting for that judge to hit you over the head with unfair child support. And the thing of it is, men especially, you have to do better when it comes to who you choose to deal with. Because we all understand, we all know, a woman can be surrounded by red flags. Surrounded by red flags. I mean, I'm talking about 4 or 5 kids, 4 or 5 baby fathers. I mean, no job, just no aspiration to do anything. But if she looks good enough, she won't have a problem with some man out here dealing with her. Then once you impregnate her, oh, she's this, she's that, because now you're in child support. What are we doing? No one made you sleep with her. No one made you go in that thing raw without any type of protection, and now here you are. I see it every day. And then you want to turn around and say all black women this and all black women that. But at the end of the day, it's who you choose to deal with. It's who you choose to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you do, however you move, you got to own it. You got to own it. It's really just that simple. You got to own your situation. If you're in a toxic relationship with somebody, at some point in time, you okay that. That's on you. But going online and putting all black women in a box, that's just wild to me. And the same goes for anyone. To lump any and every race, creed, whatever in one box, that's just wild work. We have to get back to being accountable for our own situations. There are always going to be obstacles. That's just life. There are always going to be obstacles. But at the end of the day, you already know that. So you can either overcome, or what's the alternative? Cry, whine, and be a victim? I'm here to say, we bigger than that. But you have to own your situations and move accordingly. You got to move accordingly. And for the women, if you out here talking about there are no good men, all men are dogs and this, that, and the third, you can feel how you want. But at the end of the day, if you've been dogged by 4 or 5 men, you got to start doing some self-reflection. Because you are the common denominator. What's going on with me? Why do I continue to attract the same type of man? But it's just easier to just point your finger and place blame outwardly. It's easier to do that than to soul search and find the flaw in yourself. And that's all that I see online, is just everybody blaming every other thing for what they have going on. We all are out here in it. We're all going through it. But at the end of the day, we have to be better tomorrow. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from your situations and move accordingly. I don't understand this narrative that we're just out here placing blame on every other thing, and you remain blameless in the situation. You the victim. You the victim. We have to do better. We have to move better as individuals. We have to move better. I don't have some wide sweeping solution for the culture. But as individuals, if I wake up every day striving to be the best version of myself, and you do the same, as a collective, we'll start to make some momentum. But at the end of the day, that's really what we can do. And I just find it disingenuous to hear so many of the narratives that just continue to sow division. just continue to sow division. With me, I don't have any children, but that's on purpose. That was done on purpose, because I didn't want a baby mother. I didn't want to be in child support, getting drugged in child support court, being drugged by the system, because I've seen how unfair it is. I know a lot of good men out here being drugged because they chose the wrong female. And sometimes you make mistakes. One, okay. But when you've made the same mistake 2, 3, 4 times, nah, yo, that you just moving sideways. You gotta own that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta own that. And so it's just a conversation that needs to be had more, because someone has to provide a balance out here. Everything needs balance. And we're just off kilter right now. We're just out of whack completely. And I don't want the narrative that you hear online to become the norm. A lot of people already think it's the norm, but it's just because you hear the voices online and you think that that's the norm, when it's still right now the minority, believe it or not, because there are no statistics to support most of the things that you hear online. But at the end of the day, we can still do better. But you got to start with owning your situation. Wherever you are, you're there because ultimately the decisions you made put yourself there. Again, I'm not saying racism doesn't exist. I'm not saying white supremacy doesn't exist. I'm not saying any of these things don't exist. But at the end of the day, you still got to move forward. You still have to wake up every day and do what you need to do as an individual to overcome. That's always been the game. You know what I mean? That's always been the game. So, I just hear a lot of whining. I hear a lot of crying. A lot of just a victim mentality. And we bigger than that. We stronger than that. We always have been. Always have been. But we've always had one another. And therein lies the problem, because now we're being divided. Black men and black women are being divided. And come on, yo. At the end of the day, we all we have. So we got to tighten up. We got some work to do. And so I just decided I'd come in here, drop this little video real quick, because again, I'm about balance. Just an authentic conversation with normal people. That's what I strive to do. And so, yo, if you rocking with this message, man, or whatever, like I say, like, share, do your thing or whatever. But yeah, more to come. No doubt.